Hello, hello. It's Hyson Vanderpool once more with some lifestyle thoughts and tips about what we can do to help ourselves as we continue to design the great life that we also richly deserve. Today, I wanted to talk a bit about jumping to conclusions. I believe that if jumping to conclusions were a physical activity, we would, many of us, be very, very fit because we do it all the time. Why? Why do we do this? I think, well, it makes me, I'm reminded of a education forum that I attended years ago called the Landmark, it was called the Landmark Forum at that point. I think the name is a bit different now. But what they did is try to help people in terms of their mindset, in terms of their ways of being, the way they live their life, try to help us with different philosophies. In short, just to help people live a better life. And in the process, we were introduced to different terminologies to help us explain some different things. And one of the distinctions, as they call it, was already always listening. And the meaning of that was that even though we might think of ourselves as open-minded and objective very, very often, the truth is that we are influenced by our circumstances, by others, by the influencing factors in our life, like our church, the school we went to, the place we work. All these influences affect our lives. And they create pre-existing notions and ideas for how we look at people and how we look at circumstances very often. And even our bringing and our values, not to mention, I didn't mention that, but that's very important as well. And these things tend to color our relationships with other people and even with ourselves. So it creates what we looked at as filters through which we look at circumstances, through which we look at people. And these filters are often creating a distortion, and we don't really see things as they are. We see them as they present to us through these filters. And so often we assign situations, we assign attitudes to other people that aren't even there because we are looking at them through these filters. And in so doing, we sometimes take in front in terms of reacting to people, and we create problems. Of course, most likely it will be with our loved ones or people who are close to us because they are the ones we are interacting with. And so we jump to these conclusions, we react and create problems, often to the puzzlement of the people that we are dealing with because they don't understand where we are coming from. I'm reminded of just a funny little story I read. An exchange between a young woman and a young man. They were talking on the phone, and he asked her what she was doing, and she said she was looking at a movie. So he said, "That sounds like fun. What's the name of the movie?" No, yes, he said, "What's the name of the movie?" She said, "P.S. I love you." So he said, "Really? But I have been, liking you for a long time. I just didn't know if could we meet up? We have a lot to talk about." So she was a little bit taken aback, and she said, "I'm sorry. P.S. I love you is the name of the movie." He was a bit mortified and had to stumble his way off of it, and the conversation went on from there. But he heard her say something, and because of his filter for her, he was liking her all the time and seeing her in a particular way. So it was easy for him to jump to that conclusion when she said it was "P.S. I love you," even though he had asked her what's the name of the movie. The words didn't attach itself to the name of the movie in his mind, but rather it went where his filter would have liked it to go, which is that she loved him. So he went with that. And it's a very frivolous, maybe even example to explain what I'm talking about. So often, when we are talking, we are saying one thing, and the other person is hearing something else, especially if we don't pre-frame them, if we don't help them to transition properly to where we want them to be. We say it, they jump to the conclusion through their filters, and there's the result is confusion. And sometimes the confusion is not pleasant. Sometimes it can be really, especially in a relationship where you have two people in a relationship, you end up having disagreements just off a simple not understanding. And I think the main thing is that people not only do they not understand, but they don't take the time to find the information. For example, if I say something and you don't quite understand what I'm saying, then you should ask me a question to clarify. Now, often when that happens, that creates a problem, because I find, why are you asking me those questions? I just said so. What are those questions for? And then we have this back and forth, and it's just a massive confusion. Just a massive confusion. So I think the whole problem is that we have to be careful when we're talking to people, not to be listening to them through these filters, but rather try to open ourselves to hearing them from where they are. And if we don't understand it, then seek clarification so that we fully understand what they are saying, and so we can answer in a proper manner. Of course, it helps if both parties are on the same page with a process like this. Because if you are feeling that way, but the other person isn't understanding where you are from, and then, it's just confusion. So it's just interesting to me how in conversations and communication, people jump into conclusions about everything, can just create confusion in communication. Let us not jump to conclusions. Let us get the information that we need. Let us sidestep our filters, recognize first of all that we have filters, try to sidestep those filters, try to open our minds and our hearts to what the person is saying to us, so that we hear them and we have clear communication. This is just something I want to leave with you, based on some things that have happened to me today, as a matter of fact. Just something I want to leave with you as we continue to stay committed to building that life that will help us to make the rest of our life the best of our life. Take care. Until the next time. Bye-bye.